I get to be in these amazing places where no one else gets to tread, surrounded by incredible birds. They permeate into absolutely every dream I have. It's kind of scary. Like, they have taken over 90% of my brain space. Yeah, I'm happy to be totally curly man. I am Sam McCready. I am the project officer for the Curlew LIFE project here at Insh, Marshes. Where we are now is the best area for breeding curlew, lapwing, redshank snipe, oystercatcher, and it periodically floods. You've got loads of tussocky grassland, wet sphagnum, and the curlew, lapwing and redshank just love to breed on those tussocks. So I'm just searching for a nest that's been found this morning so that we can measure the eggs and calculate hatch date. And it'll be somewhere in amongst this long grass. Just looking for a divot. They often make a little nest divot, and there goes the adult. So we've got the nest just here. 4 beautiful eggs. So what you have to do is you weigh and measure the length and width of the eggs. And they get lighter as they age. And then you can figure out when they're going to hatch based on that information. So that's us done at the nest. Although Insh Marshes has pretty much the highest density of breeding curlew in the UK, we're still seeing a decline in their numbers. So what we really want to see is, we've got this magic number 0.5, and what 0.5 is 0.5 chicks to fledge into the adult population for every pair there is. Now curlew have 4 chicks, or 4 eggs, and often 4 chicks in every brood. So what that literally means is every other nest needs to fledge 1 chick, which doesn't seem like a tall ask, but it's still not happening here at Insh. So what we need to get is more chicks fledged, and then that will bolster the population. So the chicks are out, so they'll be somewhere around here. We send these off to the University of Sheffield, check the shell for its thickness. They can see what the adult's diet was like, and for things like this, if the egg is unhatched, they can see if it was fertilised in the first place, and if it was, at which stage it stopped development. It just gives us a bit more understanding of why nests sometimes fail, why eggs hatch, why some chicks are in better health than others when they do hatch, that kind of thing. We've got this, which is a data logger, and this tells you when the adult's on the nest, because it tells you the temperature of the nest at the time. So we can figure out how often they're incubating, how long they're incubating for, if disturbance happens, how long they stay off the nest, and how long after a predation event they'll leave the nest entirely and stop incubating the eggs. Just a useful, really tiny piece of kit that gives us a lot of data. I have tried to film some stuff for you because when we get to the nest and see the chicks hatching, we do get a real privileged view of chicks as they're emerging from the eggs. So we're really the first thing they see. They're not wary of me. They don't hunker down, they just kind of doze off, and it's totally adorable.
Do you like dream about curlews now?
They permeate into absolutely every dream I have. It's kind of scary. Like, they have taken over 90% of my brain space, but I'm happy about it. Like, that is a good thing to be taking up a lot of my time. Yeah, I'm happy to be totally curly man. Curlew populations have had a massive free fall in recent years. In the last 20 years, they've fallen by a huge percentage. The sound they make, that curly call, is really a sound of people's childhood, and it's a sound of the landscape. It's a culturally important bird. Losing curlew in Scotland would be losing a really integral part of Scotland's culture and heritage. So this is our curious curlew morning, where me and the rest of the curlew team are inviting the public to come and have a look at some of our chicks and get curious about curlew. We've got fake nests, and we've got our wonderful wooden curlew with all the signatures of the people who care about curlew in the local area. Really, the community is the legacy of this project. If we inject our enthusiasm and our knowledge of the curlew into the people who live in this area and who care about the landscape here, that's what's going to drive curlew conservation in the future. I'm not seeing anything yet, sadly.
My name's Joanna and I am a volunteer with Curlew LIFE. What you're doing is standing there with your scope, looking through the scope and just scanning around and trying to see curlews. And if you do see a curlew, then trying to work out what it's doing. For me personally, I guess it's a combination of I'm here, I live here, you know, I want to know more about my surroundings, but also I'm very aware of the climate and nature crises we're in the midst of, and I'm very conscious that there's really not a lot I can do about a lot of it, but this is one thing I can do, is to contribute in some small way to conservation or nature restoration or whatever it may be. So it's, yes, just my way of making a small contribution, really. I just feel much more connected to the landscape and amazed by it, really, and amazed by what's here, but also amazed by many of the people I've worked with while volunteering who are so knowledgeable and, you know, can glance up and say, oh, there's a so-and-so, and you think, well, I can barely see a shape, let alone know what it is.
It's literally just the vegetation keeping us up.
What is it like to be walking on that stuff?
Disconcerting. It makes you really question what is solid and what is not. And then occasionally you go right through, but not this time. I feel like I'm living the dream job. I feel like I've really lucked out having this position. I get to be in these amazing places where no one else gets to tread, surrounded by incredible birds, incredible species making amazing noises, and I feel like I'm really doing something to make a difference to them as a breeding population, I feel like the work I'm doing is having a great impact on conservation and on this species.
Brilliant. Good, good, good.
Kill.